Yes, it's officially, it is July 10th, 2018. Welcome to the Third Down Show. I'm your host, T. Wayne, the Don. Y'all, I know we talked last Monday. And last Monday we talked a little bit about before the Pelicans didn't get DeMarcus Cousins back and Rajon Rondo went to the Lakers and everything like that. So a lot has happened in the last 7-8 days since I came back. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I mean, ain't much to talk about, but we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about Carmelo Anthony this afternoon. We're also going to talk a little bit about, what else we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about it's big market teams are killing the NBA. And then we also going to finish up with a little bit about Jameis Winston and his situation with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Talk a little bit about the afc-south. That is my division of the day to talk about today. And I also had a WWE question this past week on my Twitter page. So check it out, Third Down. It's Third Down is the Twitter account. Well, with a WWE faction that Triple H was in was the best. And obviously there's two, DX or Evolution. But there's two versions of DX. But to get a little bit about that, I did do a little wrestling this weekend. So we're going to talk a little bit about that to close this show. Talk about a little of D-Generation X and Evolution this afternoon. But let's talk about the big business. DeMarcus Cousins did sign to the Golden State Warriors this past weekend. I just don't know about that. I mean, this past week, I'm sorry. Signed on a minimum 1 year, $5.4 million. We all know the story. We ain't got to talk too much discussions about it. How do you guys feel about DeMarcus taking a small deal to go play on an already established team? You know, same thing with Kevin Durant. They didn't need Kevin Durant to get over. They was already established. They went 73-9 without Kevin Durant. So how you feel about him now leaving New Orleans to go to Oakland to play? I think it's their last season in Oakland before they go to San Francisco. To go play in Oakland, to go ring hop. My personal opinion about first thing for that is a bad move. I don't care for it. It's not a good move by DeMarcus Cousins. I thought DeMarcus Cousins was a little better than that. Second thing, I do think to a degree that this is something that can turn into a cancer for the NBA. The fact of the matter is that I think more players going to sit down like he did and say the only way to win if we go team up with each other to make a super team that nobody can stop. I think that's where we at right now with today's league. And that's a shame because it shouldn't be in that perspective. Because where's the competitive balance? So let's look at the league right now. There's truly 5 teams. In my personal opinion, there's 5 teams because of what they have on the roster or who they have on the roster. They are championship contenders. And that would be Los Angeles Lakers, Golden State Warriors, Houston Rockets, Philadelphia 76ers, and the Boston Celtics. If I could take them 5 teams and leave the other was 30 team teams in the NBA, something like that. No, I don't want to get confused with the NFL. Take the other teams and let them compete for another championship, I surely would. Because there's no way that you can tell me New Orleans, Portland, Indiana, San Antonio, Sacramento, Phoenix, the New York Knicks, the Brooklyn Nets, down right now, the Orlando Magics, anybody else of that nature has a legitimate fighting chance to beat the Golden State Warriors in a 7-game series, to have a fighting chance to beat any of them 5 teams in a 7-game series because they don't have the star power. Out the 5 teams, there's 2 teams I respect the most, and that'll be Boston and Philly. Because how they building their teams back together. And yes, they made a few trades to add a few pieces here, there, and here, there. But you still look what Boston did. Boston wound up giving away their big 3 years ago. Start getting assets to get for the future, and it's paying off. Look where Brooklyn at. Now, Brooklyn went all in for a championship, and they couldn't get it. Sorry to say, poor Brooklyn. Brooklyn didn't get it. So look where Brooklyn at now. The abyss of the NBA, who actually starting to come back up. If they healthy, I don't see why the Brooklyn Nets can't make the playoffs this year. Even the Knicks too, when the Knicks get healthy. I can't see why. I think that's the future places that we got to start being concerned with to a degree. Got to be New York. I think Brooklyn too. And then you got to start looking at Chicago. That's going to open up to get players to start playing in their markets again. You know, I think Miami might be on the curve next to start attracting people to start coming to Miami. And you don't want to see the NBA start going just heavy these markets that's been making the league money for years. All of a sudden just start killing your Portlands, your New Orleans, and your San Antonio even going through it. San Antonio, Denver, Indiana. You don't want to kill that. You don't want to see it happen. Because if Miami come back, because let's think about it, the last 10 years, who's been the teams that have been making the league money? Let's go through it. Let's go all the way back to about 2009. You can start saying the Lakers, they won championships. Boston won championships or getting to the finals. The Miami Heat was getting to the finals. Hello. You know, you had your one stint with Dallas winning the championship. You had your stint with San Antonio, wound up sneaking them a championship too as well. Then who else was starting to come in? Golden State started stepping in. Cleveland won the championship. Medium market's Cleveland. Bad market anyway. Not a good franchise. It got covered up because of LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? It's really a bad market. Not that great of a market. So, you know, I'm sitting here thinking about it. You know, Miami made money. LA made money. Boston made money. Golden State made money. These are the franchises that make a lot of money for the league. And that's why, you know, I don't want to say it's a conspiracy theory, but to a degree, when you think about what's going on in the NBA right now, the NBA are so pro big market heavy. Philadelphia's back. No doubt in my mind, Philadelphia going to have a legit chance to be the number 1 or number 2 team in the Eastern Conference this year. When you start thinking about where the Eastern Conference at now since LeBron James left, no doubt in my mind, I think Giannis is the best player. I think Kyrie can challenge him if Kyrie is healthy. But right now, preseason, 2K cover guy for 2K19, you know, Giannis is the best player in the Eastern Conference. No doubt about that. Then you got Kyrie who come in with the injuries. I think Kristaps Porzingis, he's a polished up player. When he's healthy, he's a dominant player. I like Kristaps Porzingis. I remember we went and saw him a few years, his rookie year when he came to New Orleans, when Melo was still with the Knicks, and he's really a polished player. He's just raw. He was raw back then. Now he's more of got the skill set. Really a great draft pick by the Knicks. Probably one of the great things that Phil Jackson did when he was there, unfortunately. Buyout. Don't know too much. Then, you know, you start looking at, you know, Gordon Hayward out there. I think Gordon Hayward's going to shake back in the Eastern Conference. Joel Embiid is one of the top players in the Eastern Conference. Ben Simmons, he get a jump shot. Who's going to stop Ben Simmons? You know, John Wall's still there. Bradley Beal's still there. You know, you got DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry. I kind of gave up on them guys to a degree. But I don't know. I don't like that it's so big market heavy, because you're never going to see the small markets really make a chance for the NBA Finals. You tell me right now, anybody can tell me right now that you feel a legit chance with the roster moves, and all my Pels fans, with the roster moves that New Orleans has done. And Alvin Gentry came out and said that he think Julius going to play the point center role, kind of what DeMarcus did. Kind of still can keep the same type of attitude on the team. It might pay off for the long run as long as Julius is healthy. If you could tell me that New Orleans have a legit chance, a truly legit chance to get to the NBA Finals this year, I would bet $1 million. I'll take out a loan and bet $1 million to you. And like, you are on. Because there's no way in hell, no chance, like Vince McMahon says. We don't have a chance with the talent level. To a degree, you can't take no games off like they did last season. Remember last season they took a game off against Sacramento at home. They took a few games off. You can't take no games off this season, or you won't be in the playoffs. You know, they took a game off day one against Memphis. Took the first game off. Took the second game off. They had a chance to beat Golden State game 2, but they struggled. It took Jameer Nelson, who they had to sign, to help them to overcome and beat the Lakers game 3. It took them a while to get over 500 last year, if you remember. So you can't take no days off if you're New Orleans. You can't. Day one, out the gate, we got to at least start off winning 5, 6 straight. Got no choice to compete in the Western Conference. Out the gate, win 5, 6 straight. Off the gate. It's going to be a long season, man. And I think this is something that's going to potentially turn into a cancer. I think more players are looking at as like 5, maybe about 10, 12, 15 years ago. Could you see Tracy McGrady leaving Orlando? That was a trade. Let's just say hypothetically. Let's just say he played his whole contract out before the trade came. Could you see Tracy signing a league minimum to go play with the LA Lakers? Could you see it? Could you imagine the lineup? What Shaq would have stayed to a degree. Could you imagine this lineup? You could have Derek Fisher, Kobe Bryant, Tracy McGrady. Who was their 4 back then? I forgot who was their 4 guy. It really don't matter. You could throw anybody to play your 4. Let's just say, I think Robert Ory was moving around. But let's just say about the 04 season, Tracy McGrady contract was up. Let's just say Shaq stays. He takes the minimum. And you got McGrady, Kobe, and Shaq. Who is stopping that? There's nobody stopping that. You're not stopping McGrady and Shaq and Kobe. The only people that's going to stop them is them. Now, I think the egos will start getting in the way to a degree. But would you see Allen Iverson taking a league minimum to go play potentially with the Lakers or go play somewhere in Detroit? No. It's just they wasn't thinking about it like that back in the day. They had their squads, you got their squads, we going to ball, we going to be competitive. Not like that today. It's a different day's NBA. A lot of these guys came playing up in AAU. They know each other well. Why we can't form the same team in the NBA? And I think that's what the young generation is coming up next as well. I think the best basketball I've seen all season, to be honest with you, is the Summer League so far. What some of them young guys are doing. Colin Saxon put on some shows, a couple of games. Trae Young starting to find a rhythm. Mama Abute. I know I said that boy name wrong. Didn't. I mean, everybody and all these young guys are putting on shows, and it's a shame. This is probably the most TV time we're going to see of these boys coming up in this season, coming up this year. So let's talk about Melo. Melo looking for a buyout or a trade from the Oklahoma City Thunder. I don't know which one's going to happen first, so we just got to wait back and see. So how y'all feel about Carmelo Anthony? I think Carmelo, I had a Twitter question this past week. I said, where would Carmelo land next? 50% said, I want to say 50% said Houston for sure. I think 11% said it was a tie between the Lakers and the Celtics, and 28% said overseas, to go play overseas. Carmelo go play in the China League. He's like the Michael Jordan of the China League. You see what they do for Stephon Marbury. Imagine Carmelo, a bigger player, going to play over there in the China League. Probably he could play for another 10 years probably. Probably a 9-time China champion. Be a 5-time, 6-time China MVP. Scoring titles and all. Melo would be the Michael Jordan of a China League. That would be crazy too. One of the greatest of all time. Rocking in China. So let's say he's trying to go to Houston. Houston, remember they lost Trevor Ariza to Phoenix this year, so they really losing that spot. They got to maintain. They lost Mbute too to go to the Clippers as well. So let's just see how this is going to work out. I think this is probably better for him than playing with Russell Westbrook, because I think Chris Paul more the facilitator role, and he's more of the. I'm not saying Russell Westbrook not a leader. I'm definitely not saying that at all, because you don't average triple doubles back-to-back season without being some type of a leader. But I think more the playing style that Chris Paul can help and bring with Carmelo Anthony will fit the team a lot better. But once again, Carmelo got to accept his role, what he's doing over there in Oklahoma City. I mean, what he did in Oklahoma City, like he struggled. But if he can accept his role, if he go to Houston, it'd be a lot different for the young man. So I want to see how that's going to work out if he goes to Houston this season. Pay more attention to that when the sign details come down. Also, I was interested in Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah never signed. He had interest, a strong interest in the Orlando Magic, but things came to a halt. So it must be some money issues. it's a shame how great a player he was for like 2 years ago,